He's a dad, photographer, director, collaborator, dreamer with a big heart, lover of family, food, fitness, cars, art, clothes, old school, toys, rad people, and fun times. Oh yeah, and did I mention he's an international photographer who has shot campaigns for huge companies, TV shows, musicians like Drake, Ariana Grande, will.i.am, deadmau5, and models like Winnie Harlow to Olympic athletes and much, much more. Today's guest on My Best Life podcast is Matt Barnes. Welcome to My Best Life podcast with Flavia Abadia. We are a new inspirational and motivational podcast featuring people with positive mindsets achieving tremendous things with tips, advice, and life lessons to help you live your best life. Today's episode is brought to you by Scoria. Spark the child within with signature cork yoga mats and accessories by using the code MYBESTLIFE at checkout for 15% off your order. Hello and welcome to My Best Life podcast. My name is Flavia Abadia and today's guest is Matt Barnes. He's an amazing photographer who has photographed everyone and everything from celebrities like will.i.am, Drake, Ariana Grande to commercials for big companies, TV shows, athletes, and much, much more. So welcome.
Thank you.
How did you first get into photography?
I think that it was pretty much my destiny. I think my dad wanted to be a photographer. He always had like nice camera equipment and stuff like that when I was a kid. So, nice cameras for family portraits. And he kind of liked the gear and stuff, maybe more than the shooting, or never really got the knack of shooting. So
okay.
I was always intrigued by it. I always thought it was fun. And I got really into it really early in my life. So
Cool. When did you realize that you could pursue this as a full-time job?
I did a co-op placement when I was in grade 10 in high school at a photo studio, and the first day that I went there was like a life-changing day. Like I saw this like husband and wife team that did photography for a living, and it just seemed my parents were farmers and business owners, and they worked like incredibly hard. Not that this other family didn't work hard, but it just seemed like that was a nice way to make a living, just taking pictures and hanging out, drinking coffee, talking.
Yeah. It's less physical than farming for sure.
Definitely.
Farming is hard work.
Yeah.
So then, what did you start taking pictures of? Was it mostly like landscapes or portraits or?
Yeah, people was always like, I always really enjoyed photographing people. It kind of gave me like an excuse to kind of like break the ice with someone, or as an excuse to talk to pretty girls or pretty boys or whatever. Like it was it was a neat way to, as a, kind of a bit of a loner kid, and kind of like focused on into the computer and drawing and stuff like that. So I think that it gave me an opportunity to like connect with people and be somewhat social.
Okay, cool. And like when you photograph someone, how do you connect with them, or how do you get them to bring the emotion out?
Usually I try not to say too much to them. I kind of hate it when people push me to tell them what I want. I usually kind of like set a scene or set something up, and then I kind of like just put them in there, and what they give you is kind of what they give you, I guess.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so then you photograph them as they are.
More like how I see them, I guess. More than how they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. 'Cause I love your photographs, and they're really good, obviously.
Thank you.
Which is why you've made
a place to sleep or eat or anything like that. So I kind of turned my like living room into kind of like a photo studio, like similar to the way your place is laid out right here. It's like there's more work equipment in here than there is other things. So
yeah, cool, nice. Since you've started, you've photographed so many people. Do you have any favorites or any things that stand out to you?
They're all pretty cool. Like I kind of like like any artist, it kind of like you really only like the next thing you do or the last thing you did. You kind of, you kind of keep doing this to kind of keep your, your artistic juices going, kind of thing. So I don't know. We've had a lot of like really fun photo shoots. Like every shoot pretty much is a fun, whether it's getting to travel or I don't know, meeting people is a funny thing because it's, you kind of learn that everyone's just a person. So it's, it's not like, it's that exciting to meet like a celebrity or that disappointing to meet a celebrity. We did photograph Chris Pratt once, and we all kind of really fell in love with him. He was incredibly good looking and so charming. And yeah, so that stands out. He was, he was like just like he is on the screen, kind of thing.
Nice. And what have been your favorite moments traveling?
A couple of years ago, we got to do a project for a company or a charity called Mercy Ship, and it's a like a floating hospital ship that was docked in Madagascar, and they perform like operations, like a lot of stuff with kids and stuff on the ship. So we got to go over there and basically live on the ship for a week and photograph like nurses, doctors, patients. We got to go out into Madagascar and photograph people in the towns and things like that. So it was that was really special. It was a long way to go, and we met some lovely people and saw like ridiculous poverty, but saw some pretty special things as well. And it was a life-changing thing at the time. And I mean, you kind of get back to your world and back to your reality, and start worrying about where you're going to get your next fancy cup of coffee and shit like that. But like it definitely made you think for a while. And I mean, still think about it, still think about all the kids and stuff. So.
Yeah. So when you're on a job like that, you take pictures of the doctors and everything, but did you just go around as a basically tourist or visitor and taking pictures and documenting everything?
No, not really. I usually make a bigger deal out of everything that I do. I'm not really a great like documenting photographer. Like I maybe I have too much of an ego for that or something. Like I like it to be, Matt Barnes' show when we're taking pictures. So I like, we have lights and cameras and helpers and things like that. Like I'm not really very subtle with how I approach anything. So I don't know, not that it has to be all about me, but it kind of has to be all about like the idea. Like I have like a way that I would go about doing things. And
okay, so in everyday life, you're not like when you walk down the street, are you like, oh, this is like a cool idea for this photo shoot, or I don't know, how do you like?
No, I'm definitely not that kind of shooter.
Okay.
I think that like the first day of college, one of our like teachers said that there was like two kinds of photographers, those that take pictures and those that create images. And I was like, I want to be an image creator. So that was like I always like that side of it. Like I like dressing people up. I like like role playing and pretend and stuff like that. Like it's my favorite photos are ones where I get to kind of use my imagination and stuff rather than just photograph it. That always seemed kind of, I don't know. I like other photographers that I like. I really like that kind of photography, but I don't really like doing it. I like everything to be a bit more, fantastic and a bit more art directed and stuff.
That's cool. It's like the childlike imagination and thinking of these great adventures.
I have a big imagination, so it's
That's cool. So when someone approaches you for a photo shoot, do you come up with that idea? Do they come to you with an idea? Like, how does it
It depends how much money they have, to be honest.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes, or every situation's kind of different. We do a lot of work that's where we're kind of a gun for hire, and we're hired to photograph someone else's concept, and that's the kind of work that you get paid to do. So whether it's a company or a musician or something like that comes to us and they have a bit of a concept or an idea of what they want to look like, and we kind of help execute that. That's that's the paid side of my job. So that's the stuff that still kind of feels like work. And when you get to be like creatively free, that's the really fun stuff. But it doesn't happen all the time. People can come to you and be like, oh yeah, like, choose what concept you'd want me to shoot you in. Like, I don't know, I'm dirty, I'm sexy, I'm over the top. So it doesn't really work for everyone. When someone was to say like, do whatever you want with me, maybe they didn't imagine being, dressed up as little Bo Peep riding a sheep or something like that, So it's, I don't, it's very rare that you actually get to do what you actually want to do.
Yeah. And some of your photographs, they range. Like some of them, the person is like nude, or some of them, they're all dressed up. Is it ever uncomfortable, like shooting someone if they're naked? Or?
No, it's a blast. It's so much fun. It's, I don't know. It's really neat as long as they want to. And, there's a lot of controversy these days with models being forced to do things that they wouldn't want to do. So, I mean, that's kind of a scary thing. I'd hate for anyone that was in one of my photo shoots to come back the next day or a year's time and say, I wish I didn't dress up as a naked little Bo Peep or something like that. Like, it's fun. Like, it's fun to see human bodies. It's fun energy to help someone have the confidence to strut their stuff or to feel really sexy. Like, we've had like controversy like over the years about, we have a massive print in our studio of a porn star called Christy Mack, and sometimes I see people look at it in a certain way, like, they look at it on the wall and some of their responses would be like, oh, it's a picture of a naked porn star, or which is, it's kind of a funny thing. It's it's also a picture of someone that I got to meet, that I got to hang out with. It was like the first photo shoot she did after like, almost being killed by her boyfriend. And she kind of had the confidence to, strip down and be really sexy in a room full of strangers. And it wasn't even my idea. I shot her with a dragon, and the stylist that I was working with that day kind of had this see-through one-piece bathing suit, and she kind of wore it, and it was pretty sexy. And then she said like, oh, like, can you like just kind of tear yourself out of it? And we just, I think there was like 4 of us stood there and we watched her kind of, laugh and feel really empowered and tear this bathing suit off of her. It was hot. It was awesome.
Yeah.
We created a cool piece of art.
That's cool. How you just like let people be themselves, give them the confidence to do things they want.
Yeah. So. And push it a little bit as well. Like it's, try and, I don't know, a lot of times when I'd be like shooting girls and, maybe they'll end up with like their tops on and they'll be like, oh, you have like, such a way of making people do this. I'm like, I didn't say shit. You're like, you felt it and you got into it. So, it's fun. It's fun to, run around naked and play pretend. It's a good time.
It's like when you're a kid and you're just like running around the house.
For sure it is. It's, that happens a lot in our studio. It's like be shooting naked and then someone will have to pee and they'll like scamper down the hallway naked. And,
That's so funny.
It's fun. I hope that it's like always like really, really fun and empowering and and positive and
Is it ever like, because I know you have a partner, is it ever weird for her to see these pictures, or she's like cool with it?
It's a funny thing. It's I think like I've kind of shot sexy pictures of both men and women like ever since we were together. She was my agent in the beginning, so not that I don't think I'd ever say like she knew what she was getting into, or anything like that. Like it's. Yeah, we're open with each other, and
that's cool.
It's, I don't know, it's not like I'm ever really crossing a line with anyone or anything like that. It's not.
Because you have a team of people who are all there, right?
For sure, yeah. We don't like, I wouldn't invite a girl over to the studio at midnight and,
Yeah, no.
anything like that. It's usually, well, it's not usually, it's always very professional
Yeah.
and yeah, the images are the most important thing. Like, it's not like you're just having someone by to see them naked or anything like that.
No, yeah, of course. It's almost like the first co-op you said you did in grade 10 of the couple that worked together. You kind of ended up there working with your partner in the beginning.
For sure.
Yeah. Do you still work together or?
Yeah, we work together on some things. We kind of say that we don't work that well together. We're both Aries and we're both like artistic and both have big artistic egos, so that kind of makes it hard to collaborate. But I think we work well as a family. That's a lot of work, and
yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, we do work well together. We have like a similar aesthetic and a similar taste as well. Like we both really know what we like, and I think we're each other's like best fans and biggest critics at the same time. So yeah, and it's hard sometimes to take. I just did a massive creative project, which is the most fun that it can have, where you're shooting completely for yourself. There's no client, there's no one to tell you what to do. You're just creating your own artwork. And I kind of told her maybe a week before the photo shoot or a video shoot what I was doing, and she kind of cut it up, and she's like, "Oh, you need like much more of a story. Otherwise, you're not really saying anything." So it made me like really go back to the boards and like kind of try and think up, a bit more of a narrative to it.
Okay.
Kind of thing. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
So you push each other creatively. That's nice.
Yeah, reluctantly. We kind of hate each other's feedback sometimes, but I think it's helpful. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And you have a really nice studio in Toronto, and you have a team. Like from the beginning of your career of shooting people, like how did you build that? How did you even build a team? Find the right people to work with?
I remember like a lot of like my business advice and advice on how I'd run my company comes from my dad, who's just he's very strong, and he always has like a very strong opinion on everything. And he I think he read a book by Casey Irving, I think is like the founder of like the Irving Oil Company in the East Coast of Canada, and he said that like the most important thing for like someone that runs a business is to hire people that are better than you at the things you don't like to do.
Okay.
And so the people around me that I have around me can do the things that I can't do much better than I can. So I was always really scared to go knock on someone's door. I mean, we walked by a cool looking house, and I really wanted to take pictures on their front lawn. I don't know if I'd have the balls to go and knock on the door, but I have a producer, Natalie, who I can just send there, and she'll come back, or she'll ask me questions like, what do you want to pay them, or how long do you want it for, and things like that. So it's finding your weaknesses and hiring people that can kind of fill in the blanks and do it.
That's cool. How did you find those people? Did you put an ad out, or was it word of mouth?
I've been very fortunate that they've really just kind of like fallen into place, like been really lucky. And I mean, even my current assistant Tom, I don't even know. I think he was just there one day. He just kind of showed up. I don't even know why he was there. And then he hasn't left now since he's been there for like four months, and which is really nice. Like really lucky. Like we spend an insane amount of time with the people around us. Like more so than I probably spend more time or as much time with my work family as I do home family. So.
Well, yeah, because work takes such a big chunk of the day. So
yeah,
it's good to have nice people to work around,
for sure,
work with. And when you were starting, like, where did you get your first big breaks, or did you have one big break, or was it a series?
I think that I got really lucky, like just at the time that I entered the industry. So everyone in the city, everyone in the like commercial photography industry in Toronto had just kind of like switched to shooting full-time digital. So from film, and this was probably like 15 years ago now, 15 years ago. And I was kind of like a Photoshop computer nerd whiz kind of thing. So I kind of had as much like computer knowledge as a lot of the people that were kind of like big in the industry, if not a little bit more knowledge than them, because I learned it in school, and I went down to the States and did Photoshop courses, and I did extra Photoshop courses when I was in college, and so I was pretty good at it. And so a lot of these photographers, if they didn't really get their Photoshop game and their digital game going, they were just gonna kind of kind of fade away. So I was lucky that I could get paid pretty decently as like a 20-year-old kid to do people's Photoshop work, and that allowed me to, build up my own gear and start spending money on my own kind of promotion and productions and stuff like that.
So you worked for other photographers first, helping them edit?
Yeah, I worked for the first couple of years I lived in Toronto. I worked for a guy who just did editing. So I worked like a 9-to-5 job doing Photoshop work on other photographers' photos, cleaning them up and making them look pretty. And like as I looked at those like every day, I was like, oh man, I could almost do this stuff. And I got another break when one of my best friends that I kind of hung out with all through college, he got a job working at a big photo studio downtown. And he called and asked if I wanted to leave this retouching job and come work at a photo studio, which was that kind of changed everything, because I thought I wanted to do computer work because I was kind of shy and nervous, and it was a more behind the scenes job. And but it wasn't really creative at all. It was less and less creative. And then I started like dealing with like the art directors and the clients and the people that would hire you, and they all kind of liked me because I was just kind of like a little different or a little bit more artistic or interesting than other people that they work with, and kind of wanted to give me a go to see what I would do with a project they had. So
cool. Yeah. So what kind of creative work did you do at the beginning when you went to that photo studio? It was
it's the same kind of stuff that I do now. Like I've kind of always been inspired by like the same things. I like beautiful people, beautiful cars, kind of inspired by the same stuff. It's just I guess as you gain like more inspiration and learn more, you try and put more of what you have into your pictures, or more ideas into your pictures. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. Like sometimes I look back at work that I used to do and it seems so much more easygoing and artistic.
Is that good or
I don't know.
Or it's just different?
Yeah, it's just different. It kind of explains like where you were at that point in your life, I guess. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do you have tons of pictures in your house of your photographs?
Not tons, a few though. Most of the artwork in our house is my own artwork, I guess. So, and our studio is filled with our pictures that we've done, whether they've been like art projects or work projects, like stuff that I want my clients to see when they come in. And
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a series of super quick questions I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
If you were to have a superpower, what kind of superpower would you want?
Oh. I think being able to time travel would be sweet. So some sort of time traveling ability.
Then you could take pictures in different time periods.
Yeah, just go back to yesterday even and change the shitty decisions you made. I don't know. Maybe maybe go into the future a little bit. Go into the past a little bit. Go have a milkshake with Buddy Holly or something like that. It'd be fun.
Okay. What's the best book you've read?
I think, I don't know. I probably have a bunch, but I think one of the books that stands out is reading Women, the Charles Bukowski book, because sometimes I feel like my artwork is, sometimes you feel guilty for how dirty you want to make your artwork. And
Okay.
I think reading his books allowed me to know that you don't really need to have any boundaries on your art. Like if you can
Yeah.
be as dirty, as weird as, you don't have to hold back. I didn't, he doesn't feel like he held back very much. So I think that
Okay.
was empowering.
Good. Because, yeah, art should be fun and whatever your imagination wants.
Yeah.
Cats or dogs?
Oh, neither. I'm not really a fan of pets, but if
Oh,
I had
really?
to pick, maybe dogs.
Okay. If you could be an animal, what animal would you be?
Um, Maybe like a panther.
Okay.
Yeah, like a black panther would be pretty
Okay.
cool. They seem like just like they lay around in the trees and they look beautiful and
Yeah.
they look really cool. I love panthers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, what's your favorite travel destination or one of the favorite places you've been?
I really like going to Madagascar. I think that was like really special because it was, it wasn't like there were tourists there. It was we were really you felt like you were a really long way from home. But going to Japan was cool too. We got to shoot there,
nice.
and it was pretty far out, and the people were really, really lovely. So that was really cool.
What did you shoot in Japan?
We shot we went to like a series of barbering events.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of followed around this team of kind of like famous kind of tattoo artists and barbers as they kind of did like a tour around like 4 or 5 different cities in Japan.
Okay. Cool. Do you have a travel destination you haven't been that you want to go to?
No, not really. I'm always like down to go anywhere. Like, I mean, works allow me to travel a lot. So I really like that, and it's like sometimes like unique places, and I like that, the unknown. Like if we got like a chance to, I've got to shoot like in like Finland and interesting places like that. So yeah, I don't know. I'd go anywhere. I think we need to go to Russia maybe or something like that. But I don't have like a, yeah, I don't. It's not like I have a bucket list of places I really want to go or anything like that.
Okay.
I'd go anywhere. I'd leave tomorrow and go absolutely anywhere in the world.
Cool. That leaves it open for adventure and like. Yeah.
For sure.
What's your favorite color?
Black.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why black?
I don't know. It's yeah. Black is beautiful. It's clean. It's evil. It's sexy.
Okay.
Slick. Yeah.
Cool. What's your favorite quote, if you have one? Is it a quote you can't say?
No, I don't know. I'm trying to think of favorite quotes, and all I can come up with is my favorite titles of pornos.
Oh.
But for some reason, I don't know why. I don't know if I have a favorite quote. Yeah, nothing like I live by. Nothing that like, I don't have like a tramp stamp on the back of my back that says
Okay.
believe, peace, love.
Okay.
Anything like that. So.
Okay. What's your ultimate goal?
I would love to make a movie. That's kind of like, I didn't really have like a goal for a while. I was just kind of doing my job, keeping my head down, keeping like focused, trying to make money, trying to be, a good husband, a good dad, and live life. But I would really like to make a movie where we're trying to follow those steps. Or we just worked on a short film, and we've been doing a lot of commercials, and so yeah, I've been experimenting with being a director rather than being a photographer, and it's
Nice.
It's been fun, and it's a lot more work, and it's a lot different of a job, but it's pretty cool. It's powerful, which I think is fun. It's just different, and I'm excited about it.
Cool. Do you know what kind of movie you would want to make, or?
No, not really. I think that I think if in my mind, I think I'd just be one of those kind of directors that made like one movie that they put absolutely everything that they had into, and whether it would be good or not, maybe it would have a cult following of nerdy weirdo kids in high schools or something like that. But I don't know, something like something that's like my work, something that's kind of like dark and a bit weird and a bit sexy and yeah, that kind of thing.
Cool. Well, I'm excited for the movie when you make it to see it.
Hopefully.
Yeah. What short film did you just work on?
We worked on there's a character that I developed with an actor friend of mine called Will Hawk, who is this kind of just a weird, tormented soul that, tries to be a good man and keeps like falling into the bad side of things, or just, is basically just tormented by the demons inside his head kind of thing. And
Okay.
so yeah, it just kind of shows his struggle. And we shot down in New Orleans, and he's like at a rock bottom point in his life, and he goes to see a voodoo priestess that kind of tells him if he wants to like achieve this true redemption, that he needs to go out into the swamp and summon his demons and face them, head on, and ask for basically forgiveness to be able to cleanse his life and start again.
Okay. What is it called?
I don't know yet, really.
Okay,
His
so
character's Will Hawk. It doesn't really have a name yet. It's
okay, so it's not out yet. No.
no.
Okay.
We just shot it like last week or 2 weeks
okay.
ago, and we do our first day of editing actually tomorrow. So
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I guess, is this the first short film you've worked on? Or
I shot like a really short piece using this same character just over a year ago. And then I've had like a Bravo Fat grants to do. I did another like vaudeville kind of piece.
Okay.
And we've done a bunch of music videos and stuff like
Nice.
that. So yeah,
That's
this is like
cool.
the first thing that's like a bit more of a narrative and a bit more of a film, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. You can bring your creativeness from the pictures and bring them to life in a different way
Yeah, it's
in video.
I think that's the part that like really excited about right now. It feels like I don't know, with stills you are just kind of like, you can tell lots of lies, like especially with retouching, like you can
Okay.
you can sum everything up in one picture and leave tons to the imagination. And with motion work you have less of ability to do that, or maybe I just don't know how to do that yet. I'd like to be able to tell more lies like that. So
Cool.
yeah.
Do you have any advice for photographers who want to reach what you've done, or?
Yeah, I think just like photograph like the stuff that you like. I think that the a lot of the times when like I meet photographers, they were always asking like advice on what they should shoot, and that I don't know, that part, like you should shoot everything, like shoot everything around you, shoot all the things that you like. If you're into I don't know, if you're into S&M, like take your camera to your next fetish party and photograph everything, like, because people don't, I'm not into that, but if I if I saw a bunch of pictures like that, I'd probably be really interested, because I feel like if someone was genuinely in that scene, I could look at those pictures and get an idea of what it was like without having to to dress up in leather and go there. I could I could feel like I was in it. So
Okay.
yeah.
So for them to shoot all that they can and just do what they love, basically.
Photograph the stuff that they have access to and that they really love, or if you're into music, like try and photograph stuff like that. So
What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned along your journey?
maybe make backups of your pictures. They're
yeah.
incredibly hard to recreate. Like it's once you've taken a picture, that moment's like kind of gone forever, other than in that photo. So you kind of freeze time and you can't redo it no matter what you did. So making sure that your backups and everything are always done. Never leave your camera in your car.
Oh,
That's
okay.
a good thing. I've knock on wood, I've never got my gear stolen. So yeah, and like invest money back into your career. Like people spend a lot. Like I get all these emails all the time, like what camera would you recommend? And like, I hate those questions. Like, I don't know. I much rather talk about, like, the clothes someone is wearing in a photo than what camera it was taken with and stuff. So we just shot a magazine cover down in LA of a famous actor, and we had to shoot it on an iPhone, and it's a funny thing. Like, it's it feels like a weird thing shooting a high-end model for a high-end magazine and wearing like a $20,000 suit, and you're taking a picture of him with your iPhone. But yeah, it doesn't really matter what the camera is.
Okay.
Important part's to get the picture.
Yeah. Nice.
It's really fun. Like, I'm really lucky that when you get asked, quite often, like, you get emails, a few times a week, people will be like, oh, like, I'd really like to be doing what you're doing, and what are, how did you get there, or what did you do? And I don't know, I've always just done whatever I wanted to, and been kind of pretty strong about trying to put as much of myself into my pictures, whether it's like a picture of a CEO for a company. I'd still like it to look like one of my photos, and still do it the way that I would, rather than just kind of bending over and doing exactly what you're told. So yeah, being kind of stubborn with your artwork, but not to a point where it was I don't know, where it seemed like you were making decisions just to for your own ego.
So where can people find you? Like social media, websites?
I have a website that I haven't updated in a long time, mattbarnesphotography.com. My Instagram is mattbarnesphoto. I guess I'm kind of active on that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
Sweet, my pleasure.
That was awesome. And we'll see you next time. Follow us at My Best Life Podcast on all social media platforms, and on our website, www.mybestlifepodcast.com. Okay, thank you.
Sweet.
Bye.
Thank you.